the multi-million-dollar question, literally, a day later, centers all around Giannis. What role did he play in Damian Lillard ultimately now being in Milwaukee?
Directly, he literally played no role. In fact, Windhorst, Milwaukee's GM, he did not bring this trade idea or sign off on it to Giannis Antetokounmpo because Jru Holiday was involved, and the relationship there, the reverence that this organization and these players have for Holiday. He did not want to put that to Giannis Antetokounmpo and have him have that on his conscience necessarily, that he might sign off or not sign off on it. He decided ultimately, Windhorst did, this is a decision I have to make as GM along with ownership. And so while Giannis didn't have any real direct influence on it, certainly in the broader scope, Horst makes this decision, the Bucks make this decision, believing that it gives them the best chance to win more titles, to contend over a longer period of time with Giannis Antetokounmpo, and of course, it gives them, they think, a better chance to get him to do a new deal with them when he's ready to sign an extension.
And ultimately, that really is what matters. We promised Brian Windhorst, we promised Kendrick Perkins. They are with us as well. Brian, as you're looking at this in the Giannis piece, how are you putting this together in terms of, do you expect to see Giannis in Milwaukee for years to come now that Dame is there?
Yeah, I think Monday will be fascinating to hear what Giannis has to say at Media Day. Obviously, I expect a lot of excitement because getting a player of Damian Lillard's quality at this point in his career, at this point in the calendar, is just a huge influx of talent, and you're going to be very excited to see them play. But Giannis does still have a contract extension before him, and he kind of made it clear. He didn't exactly say he wasn't going to sign it, but his comments earlier before the Lillard trade made it seem unlikely. And he has a number of reasons not to sign it that are not related to the quality of the team. If he waits a year, he has economic incentives. But the reality is this: the Bucks were under some modicum of pressure this upcoming season. If they did not have a good year, they were facing a real problem with Giannis going into the next year of his contract. And if Giannis does not extend, whether that decision is made now or it's made later, they're really kind of still in the same position. They have obviously mortgaged the back half of this decade's trade assets in this deal. They have taken on 4 years and over $200 million in contracts for Damian Lillard. They are making an investment to have Giannis be there for multiple years into the future. But the one thing that I want to hear from Giannis is where his head is at. Because if this season doesn't result in a title or trip to the finals, and there could be 10 reasons why that doesn't happen, that has nothing to do with Dame Lillard, I don't know if the Bucks' situation has really changed at all, other than potentially increasing their chances of winning by a few percentage points, which is what you get swapping out a guy like Lillard for a great player like Jru Holiday.
I'll tell you this. I'll tell you what Giannis's head should be is fully invested into the Milwaukee Bucks. They've done everything and more to make sure that he remains happy. That's number one. Number two, over the last 6 months, Giannis has been on record saying about, when their season ended last year about, it's no failure in sports. And some of us agreed with him and we applauded him. Go Giannis, great speech. And I was the one that said, no, it is failure in sports, especially when you have expectations. Well, the expectations are even higher this year. You now have a bona fide superstar in Damian Lillard. So now Giannis Antetokounmpo, not that he does make excuses, he never make excuses, but at the end of the day, he has to get it done. They have to get it done. If they are healthy, going into the postseason and making a run like I believe they will, he has to complete the mission. He has all the tools around him and there's zero excuses. Otherwise, it's definitely a failed season, but I think he owes it to the Bucks to actually extend and sign with them. Because he was on the pod talking about how he's a winner, and rightfully so, he is a winner. He was talking about how he wants basically to hold everybody accountable. He's great. He wants greatness around him. They did that, and now he has to do his part.
I'm still getting used to saying it. Damian Lillard is a Milwaukee Buck, and Tyler Hero, who had been linked to Dame in some sort of rumors flying around, discussions that were had early on, he had some fun this morning saying, quote, as a kid from Milwaukee, I'm grabbing me a Dame jersey. Well, if Hero wants the jersey, the Bucks, they are ready to go. They wasted no time. What you're looking at right now is the team store. They're getting their brand new Lillard jerseys on the shelves already. Bucks fans wearing the letter O Seattle, Oakland, Oregon, Ogden, Milwaukee. I'm not sure where we're going to find the O city there. Chiney Ogwumike joining Adrian Wojnarowski and I on set now. Woj, since Tyler Hero will still be wearing a Heat jersey this season, let's just talk a little bit about Miami, because I think so much of the summer the expectation was, well, Damian Lillard really wants to be in Miami. Perhaps there'll be an avenue for this to happen. It did not. Is Miami content just going into the season with the roster that they have here?
Yeah, I don't think Miami is ever content, but they may need to be resigned to it. And I think as an organization, you are always making value judgments on what different players are worth to you, your own players and somebody else's players. Teams don't agree. Portland and Miami did not agree on valuing Tyler Hero, on valuing picks, on what Damian Lillard was worth. But I think if you're Miami, you've got to be very careful that you don't gas more of your trade assets for players who are entering their early 30s, their mid-30s. Because when that superstar player in his 20s becomes available and you don't have enough to go at him, you know, this is a team that certainly is very much a win-now team in Miami. But Bam Adebayo, Tyler Hero, you certainly have a younger core. I just think they've got to be careful. And I think even as they look at Jru Holiday at 33 years old, how much do they want to offer for a player who maybe his next 3 years may not be as good as his last 3 years?
Yeah, it's interesting, Woj, you say, careful and comfortable, and the context of those words are fascinating because you don't want to feel like you're too careful and miss out on great opportunities that are right in front of your door. And I think Miami Heat fans probably feel that way. It's like, we had a chance to get Dame. We had a chance to get better. This is the team that was in the NBA Finals. And it felt like, okay, we got a little bit comfortable. Not saying that the business lines up in that. They're going to get the most value, exactly as you said, Woj. But I just do think that this is a bummer. The worst thing to be in the NBA is comfortable, where you feel like, okay, we've got a shot to get Dame. Because next thing you know, people see that. And the opportunities may not have lined up. Obviously, in Miami, it turned out to be Milwaukee. But now you look at Jimmy and you look at Bam, as you outlined, and it just is tough. It's a gut punch. Because this is a team that was in the NBA Finals. They have guys with potential. They have guys in their prime. And you feel like, based on the way the rest of the East stacks up, even though you were just there and you feel like you could take the next step, you could see it right in front of your face, now it's like that moment of comfortability is completely gone, and that's the nature of the NBA.
Not to mention losing Max Strus, losing Gabe Vincent. It remains to be seen how big of an impact that those two losses are going to make. But you mentioned Jru Holiday. With that, I want to bring in our front office insider, Bobby Marks, because I really feel like we need to crunch the numbers a little bit, Bobby. I know, first of all, Perk said earlier that he would just love to see Jru Holiday on the 76ers. Can you just tell me how realistic that is, what that would look like?
Yeah, I think, Malika, when you look at from Philadelphia's perspective, it's bringing another team in here. And there's no resolution yet to the James Harden situation. So when you bring in a team like the Clippers, potentially Harden going to the Clippers, Holiday going to the Sixers, and certainly draft equity going to Portland there. I think that's where you look at it as far as coming, with Holiday in a Philadelphia 76ers uniform. I just don't see it lined up when you look at it from Philadelphia and Portland. What does James Harden do for the Portland Trail Blazers unless you reroute him again? You're basically in the same situation like you are right now with Jru Holiday, with a player that has less value.
Brian, what sort of impact do you think that Jru could have on a title contender in particular?
Yeah, one of the things that's huge here is that because of what Portland is looking for, like Woj said, which is draft picks and young players, you're not going to have to trade probably a core piece to get him, which is unlike a Damian Lillard negotiation. Some of these teams that were going to try to make a Dame Lillard trade would have had to trade a core piece. In a way, I've used the phrase he's kind of on sale. But the key is he is 33 years old. And as Woj just said, he's in the last year of his contract. And even if he goes to a place where he is comfortable, he is not permitted to extend his contract until the end of the season. I believe if he got traded in the short term here, it would be not until March. And if he doesn't get traded for a few weeks, it would be the end of the year. So you would have to, when you made your offer, you would have to try to judge how much you're willing to give up for a player that you might be renting. But I still think because he's such a plug-and-play player, he can play multiple positions, he's terrific in the locker room, he defends, he's coming off one of the best offensive seasons in his career, that he fits on so many teams. So I think teams like Boston, teams like Philadelphia, Miami, the LA Clippers, teams that were interested in Dame Lillard but maybe couldn't get it done can come back to Portland and make a different type of offer and get Jru Holiday and potentially alter the balance of power in the Eastern Conference or Western Conference, depending on where he ends up.
Potentially alter the power of a conference. That's what's sticking out to me, Brian, because when I think of, oh my goodness, wait, Dame just went to Milwaukee and now we talked about them as the favorites to potentially as contenders. All of a sudden, if you put Jru Holiday on a team like Boston, Perk, all of that shifts again.
Or even a team like the Philadelphia 76ers. And here's an opportunity right now because we know, we know that Joel Embiid is probably fed up at this moment, right? Dealing with all he had to deal with the Philadelphia 76ers, from the Ben Simmons situation to the James Harden situation. Can you imagine Jru Holiday going back to Philly and playing alongside Joel Embiid? We don't know what James Harden is going to do. We know what he's supposed to do. We know that Philly holds the keys, but a disgruntled James Harden probably won't work. Okay, so at the end of the day, if I'm the Philadelphia 76ers and I know it's a chance that I could possibly lose Joel Embiid or he could possibly request a trade or want out, I would be heavily pursuing Jru Holiday right now.
Hey, what's up, guys? Jag from Jag Esports here. Yesterday around 11 a.m. Pacific time, maybe 11:15, the news broke. The news hit the Twitter like you wouldn't believe. Damian Lillard finally gets traded, not to Miami Heat. We were all thinking it's the Miami Heat, right? Jimmy Butler and Bam Adebayo finally get some help. That's what it was all summer long. Now, the day before, buddy of mine sends me, Giannis and Dame had conversations about teaming up in Milwaukee. That was sent out by Chris Haynes. Then all of a sudden, Chris Haynes, Dame's buddy, sends out a tweet, not before Woj, before Shams. Shams actually said about the Raptors. I don't know why, but I knew it was going to be the Raptors. So all of a sudden, he sends something out saying, Dame is going to Milwaukee Bucks. And I had to read it twice. And then all of a sudden Woj breaks it. Then a Bleacher Report breaks it. Then Sportsnet breaks it. The entire NBA was just going crazy, right? So now you have Damian Lillard teaming up with Giannis. And according to multiple betting sites, they are the favorites to win the championship. Do you guys agree with this? I 100% don't fully agree with this. Just because of the fact that now you have, Jru Holiday. Where's he going to go? Because the second he got traded, I thought to myself, I'm like, well, wait a second here. Jru Holiday, Scoot Henderson, and Anthony Simons, they all can't fit on that team. And everybody knows that, Jru Holiday is a legit player. And you can actually get a lot for this guy. So now, it was on record. The second this news hit, everybody was calling Portland about Jru Holiday. Like, you have Boston, you have the Clippers, you have the 76ers, maybe the Miami Heat, but I'm not 100% sure what's going on there because Jimmy Butler basically called out Portland and Milwaukee saying that, hey, there's going to be some tampering, looking at the tampering and stuff. So I think Miami's a little bit salty with Portland right now, rightfully so. They had Dame. I don't know what the hell happened. Rumor has it that Portland wanted Jimmy Butler or Bam Adebayo. I don't know how true that is, but that is the rumor out there. Now, going back to Jru Holiday, this guy can transform a team. And contending teams want this guy. So now let's paint a little picture here. If 76ers get him, they're going to trade, a three-way trade. They're going to do Philly and Portland and LA Clippers. So Clippers get Harden, and 76ers obviously get Jru Holiday. The reason being is because now you have to satisfy the big man, as in Joel Embiid. Because if he doesn't get anything in return for James Harden, because James Harden does not want to be there. He does not want to be there. He's going to have to be there, because if this trade doesn't happen, well, guess what? You know, you're in your contract season. You can't just gain a bunch of weight like you did with Houston. So he's going to have to play well. He wants to play LA Clippers, so we're not 100% sure what's going to happen there. But, you know, Joel Embiid wants a star there. And it could be Jru Holiday. We don't know. Now let's go to the Golden State Warriors. I read a report today saying that they are the front runners to land Jru Holiday. In that case, Chris Paul is going to get traded yet again. Chris Paul might get traded to the Portland Trail Blazers for Jru Holiday. Jru Holiday is a free agent as of next year. So we don't know what is exactly going to happen with these moving parts. Like, you know, I can't remember, Bobby Marks. Bobby Marks broke it down on NBA today, as you just saw, that the New York Knicks could be also interested in Jru Holiday, because Emmanuel Quickly, he's in his last year of his contract, currently making $4.5 million. And, you know, that could be something to weigh on, because Jru Holiday plays defense. And that is something that you want. So LA Clippers, I'm hearing. The Golden State Warriors, I'm hearing. 76ers, I'm hearing. One team that would actually benefit a lot would be the Boston Celtics. If Boston Celtics land Jru Holiday, you obviously got to give up Malcolm Brogdon. According to multiple people, you have to include Robert Williams. That's what they're saying for Jru Holiday. I don't know how true that is, because Robert Williams is a good player, and they need that kind of player down in the middle. So I don't know how that's going to happen, but that's Boston, right? So what is going to happen? You know, if what I'm reading right now, the Warriors are in the front runners to land Jru Holiday, that would be crazy, because, well, I'm not saying crazy bad, I'm not saying crazy good, I'm just saying it'd be like phenomenal, because now you have Chris Paul, who's worked his butt off just to get acclimated to the Warriors. Now he's being shipped off to the Portland Trail Blazers. So I have no idea what's happening. And, you know, it's quite the scene in the NBA right now. Everybody's logged onto their phones. Everybody's watching TV for the next big update, because training camp happens next week. There is definitely going to be a trade happening in the next couple days for Jru Holiday. And rightfully so, if it's in the right situation, James Harden might be traded as well. Tune in to more Jaggy Sports. Also, I want to hear from you guys. What team would benefit from Jru Holiday, and what team is actually going to get Jru Holiday? And of course, are you guys buying this Damian Lillard, Giannis title favorites? Leave a comment in the comment section. As always, this is Jag from Jaggy Sports.